Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's recap of the season premiere of Hell's Kitchen.
It promises to be the most shocking one ever.
And they might actually be right, because this looks freaking crazy.
It is crazy. Jean-Philippe is back, and he starts off the show with some tips for the new chefs.
So some of the former chefs had little video things with advice. So, number 1, always turn on the heat.
Number 2, always taste before you serve.
And number 3, there's no crying in the kitchen.
Yeah, they all laugh, ha ha ha, very funny. Let's see how many of them make the same stupid mistakes. So, it's signature dish time, bitches.
Yes, and the prize this year is the executive chef job, I guess. In,
in Canada.
Araxi
in Whistler for the 2010 Winter Olympics. Woo-woo! Yeah, the men versus the women on the signature dishes.
First time ever.
Yes. So,
some few standouts. Louie had sausage with gravy over biscuit.
That's not a signature dish, no. Joseph, he wouldn't taste his food without a fork.
He has some major anger issues.
He's not a big boy. Amanda, she made tequila French toast and then wanted to do a shot with Gordon.
WTF, you had 45 minutes.
I know, this took 3. Melinda, poached lobster tail, but where was the lobster?
No lobster
There was like this piece of mucus there that he held up that was supposed to be the lobster.
So each round, one person from the round was supposed to get a point, but it ended up that like a lot of the rounds, no one got a point.
Yeah, there was 0 points being given out. So it was a tie. As always in Hell's Kitchen, that's the rule. It's always a tie. 2-2. Came down to the last 2. And I forget who the girl was, but she didn't get a point. And the guy, Van, came up with this seared foie gras. Who even taught him how to say that?
I don't know.
But he won for the guys. So the girls' punishment is that they have to clean up the skanky old kitchens.
That sucks. And the men's reward, they got to eat from Ramsay's restaurant.
His West Hollywood restaurant, London. They got takeout, and they got to indulge.
So the sous chefs this year, Scott.
And Heather, the winner from season 2.
Why isn't she working?
I don't know. Well, I guess she is, kind of.
Well, I mean, in her job.
Maybe the TV pays more. The ladies studied up while the guys partied the night before because they got their little recipe books of, you know, the Hell's Kitchen menu. So, the first mistake. Lovely went and cooked the fondues at 10 minutes at like 3:50 and they turned into hockey pucks.
Are you serious? You cooked them to order.
I know. Tech. She messed up the first appetizers. They were friggin' raw. And then they were burnt. And then they were like...
And Lovely's pasta was overcooked.
Right. And, what was it, Amanda? No. Melinda kept throwing it in the garbage. She just kept dumping a whole giant frying pan of pasta into the garbage every time they got it wrong. And they got it wrong
like 10 times.
Yeah, at least 8, but probably 10.
And it wasn't much better for the men. Jim had the wrong amount of scallops and...
Yeah. Melinda went into shock at one point. She was just like...
Yeah. She didn't even
say anything. Yeah.
It was creepy.
And then Gordon dumped out the garbage, and there was like pounds and pounds of pasta in there.
Yeah, well, guess who was eating dinner at the restaurant, or trying to eat dinner?
With his wife.
Robert from last season. Big boy.
I think he's like double the size of last season, unfortunately. Well, at least he got married. So, Lovely took off somewhere.
She needed a break to rehydrate.
4 bottles later, she came back.
Oh, God.
So, Amanda had an unfortunate experience. She put the...
salmon in the freezer instead of the fridge.
It looked like a bison's penis.
No.
How do you know what that looks like? Have you been around there, Chef?
Ramsay knows.
Alright, so Louis. Chef Ramsay threw him out on his ass for wasting a whole plate of lamb. Tell me that wasn't planned from the beginning when Big Boy showed up. So, Ramsay invites Robert back. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, the women lost because they served 0 entrees. It's not like anybody won, but the women lost. And they chose Melinda and Amanda. Melinda because she was deer in the headlights, and Amanda because she made a bison's penis out of salmon.
Well, Melinda was eliminated. I was really shocked that Lovely wasn't in the bottom two.
Well, she should have been.
She left without telling everyone for like 45 minutes.
She did other stuff too. She thinks she burned the halibut and stuff, and she was like, "That
wasn't burnt."
So Robert gets put on the ladies' team.
They need all the help they can get.
They're really dumb. I'm sorry.
So there was a whole nother episode after that.
Why did they do that? It was too long.
Well, Robert told his new teammates all of his secrets.
Yeah. Which seemed it seemed like the women are really gonna, take over now that Robert told him all the stuff from last season. So the first challenge was to clean as much shrimp as you can in 10 minutes. You got to make sure you get the crap sack out.
Yeah.
And Lovely sits out because there's too many women. So the ladies went first, and they ended up with 44 shrimp.
Total. But Tennille only contributed 1.
How many did the captain have?
Love. Love will. Yeah.
Yeah, so then it was the guys' turn.
Of course, it came down to a tie.
Because it's Hell's Kitchen. It's a tie. So it came down to Jim. And I think he had like 7 or 8 or whatever. So he put the guys over the top.
45-44.
Yeah. So we come to find out, well, first of all, the ladies' punishment was to clean the shrimp. And
a whole lot of lemons.
Yes.
They had to cut.
And seed. So the men went and enjoyed Newport Beach. And they had some food there. And we come to find out that Joe's a loose cannon. Because he's not here to eat lunch.
He's like, I could care less about this.
I want to cook.
Yeah.
So Scampi Tableside is the gimmick this week.
Wow.
So Tennille and Van were picked to do that.
Are you sure you want them in front of the house?
No. No. Hell's Kitchen is open. So Tony all of a sudden starts firing scallops, and nobody else was like cooking anything yet. Big mistake. Lovely forgot to turn on the stove.
Wow, weren't you laughing at that before?
Yeah. So all of a sudden, Van and Jean-Philippe are like friggin' fisticuffs. Because he's running around and not paying attention to Jean-Philippe. And
hello, Jean-Philippe is in charge of the wait staff. You should be listening to him.
Jean-Philippe does not speak Texan. That was pretty funny. Van dropped the pans when he was serving.
Like, at least twice.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. And, Jean-Philippe, he just can't deal with that.
He lost it.
He's Mr. Perfection, and he does not have a sock in his pants. That is all natural.
Yeah.
So Andy starts, like, cutting up the chicken instead of cooking it whole, like a whole breast. He starts cooking up chicken nuggets and frying them up because that's going to, like, cook faster. You don't serve that.
Well, Sabrina was trying to put out raw chicken.
What the hell was she trying to do? I don't get it. Like, she's like 1 minute to the window, and the thing is, like, it's raw all the way through.
It's, like, bleeding.
Yeah, there's no way it's going to be 1 minute. And then, like we said, Lovely burnt some more fish.
Mm-hmm. There was a real issue with the fish in this episode.
Fish is really not that hard.
Well, Tony and Kevin sucked at it.
Yeah. And the shrimp cocktail was served to everyone because otherwise
there was no food going out.
Yeah, because they don't know how to cook, so they have to serve raw things. And Tennille tried to serve a raw shrimp to a pregnant woman. Girl, I didn't see she was pregnant. I didn't see she was pregnant, lady.
Maybe you shouldn't be serving raw food to anyone.
Yeah. So shut it down. There's no winners here. Everyone had to eat raw food. So nominate 2 from each team. Van freaked out.
He did.
What the hell is wrong with these people? Does anyone know how to cook?
No.
Well, the ladies nominated Tennille and Lovely. They know why. Then the men, it was Joseph's job to say who was nominated and why.
And Ramsey's always like, first nominee and why.
Right.
And Joe was just like, they know who they are. They can come out and say it themselves.
What's wrong with him?
So then he's like, are you stupid? First nominee and why? And Joe was like, Tony and Andy.
They know why. They, we voted and they stepped up and they know why.
We understand, but you need to explain why they were picked.
To everyone. So then he starts going like a spider monkey.
I'm no bitch.
And he's like, we'll take this outside. And he's like, I'll give you your jacket.
He's all up in Ramsey's face, and he's just like, what?
Yeah. So, it's going to be continued. I can't even speak anymore because it was just so like, ah! So, it's going to be continued. They had a whole bunch of crap that doesn't even have anything in the tea. You know, the teas had nothing to do with, I'm sure, the whole thing between, you know, oh, I need a medic and ambulances and fire trucks, explosions. It had nothing to do with Joe versus Ramsey. So, we'll have to find out what the debacle is next week. Till then, much love.